right before a crash and tumble happened.
Oh man.
And so we ran over there and like, we were like, you okay? And she was on the floor. She didn't pass out, but she did lose her footing. She got lightheaded enough to where she lost her footing and fell. Every week we were experiencing like this collection of clientele who were just trauma dumping constantly. There's just like so much bad was happening in the world, which I mean, we've been living in a dumpster fire. If tattooing is what you're actually interested in and you're old enough to get tattooed, find the artist that you resonate with, find the shop that you enjoy and that you could see yourself working at in the future. And then all of your spare time, and unfortunately, all of your spare money needs to be spent there.
If a celebrity wants to get tattooed,
I'm ready.
Would they, or would you feel more comfortable closing the shop for these many hours that they book for them?
My name is Marki Flowers, and I am a tattoo artist. I own my own tattoo studio now, which is super fun and crazy and something that I never thought I would do. I have a daughter, she's 7, and a boyfriend whom I'm crazy about. All of that just keeps me incredibly busy.
So how long have you been a tattoo artist?
I have looked at you.
We're in 2025, so
6 years.
Yeah,
2019 is when I left corporate.
What brought you into this profession?
So I've always loved tattoos. I was obsessed with them when I was a kid. The day I turned 18, which is the legal allowance for Texas, I went and got my first tattoo. It was a mistake, but I've always loved them. And there was a point in my young adulthood when I thought maybe I would apprentice and be a tattoo artist. And then I looked into an apprenticeship and they were like, hey, yeah, it's 2 years unpaid. And I was like, ew, I can't do that. And so I just did corporate. I worked in corporate until 2019. I was going through a divorce and I was following Katie, whom now we own a shop together.
Meadows. Yes, I used to work with her at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, really?
Yes, many moons ago.
Wow,
yes,
what
I
a
know
small
Katie.
world.
Yes, she's awesome.
She's awesome. She drives me crazy.
She's the most calmest,
so chill, so kind. She's so sweet.
Kind.
It's so annoying.
Yes.
Yeah, she's great.
It is annoying.
It's so annoying. But she really is great. So she posted something on her Instagram, and the only reason I was following her at the time was because my best friend, my long time best friend, got a tattoo by her. And she was like, Marki, have you heard of this place? It's all hand poke. There's no machines. And I told her, I was like, I don't trust that for a second. Absolutely not. And she's like, you should just follow this artist. She's great. And so I started following Katie. And then a few years later, in 2019, I was going through a divorce. And Katie posted something on her Instagram that just really resonated with me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And so my ex and I, we split custody. And it was one night that I didn't have my daughter. And I went over there and I just loved everything about the place, the technique, the crew. I just loved everything about it. And so then moving forward, on the nights and weekends that I didn't have my daughter, I was at the tattoo shop, just hanging out, volunteering, answering the phones, like doing whatever I could. And then before I knew it, I was in an apprenticeship. And then before I knew it, I was being offered to come on as manager and work as a tattoo artist. And I was like, yeah.
No regrets?
No,
nice.
No. I mean, I have some regrets. I love the concept of like no regrets. I think that's fantastic. If you can successfully get through your entire life without a regret, congratulations. But you can't honestly tell me that you don't regret anything. I'm not saying that you don't want to change something. Like, I think everything that has happened in my life up until this point happened for a reason. It's put me here and I love where I'm at and I appreciate even the flaws and everything else. But you can have a regret and still not want to change anything. And that's absolutely, I have regrets. I wish I would have done something different. Would I go back and change it? Probably not. But I don't know. It says the tattoo artist is covered in permanent work, and
that's so cool.
I've covered up many of them. But yeah, I don't know.
And that's how we met. I met the same story of her. I did the same thing. Showed up, got a tattoo. I liked it. Kept going. I did free work.
Did she do your first tattoo?
No. A previous artist did a tattoo.
Who did you? David?
Yeah.
Of course.
David
he's
did.
so
He was the
good.
first one. And then I kept showing up, the same, like volunteer, did free work. I did free work for 2 years.
Did you?
at
I
the
did not know
shop
that.
Before getting hired full time. And then my mom told me this thing. She's like, "You're going there. You're not getting paid. You're just doing it for free." I was like, "I'm doing it for the experience. I'm doing
Yeah.
it for fun. I like it.
Fun.
They're cool." And then I just kept showing up. And then one day they're like, mid-pandemic, they're like, "You want a job?" I'm
Right.
like, "This is the worst time to offer me a job. Of course I'll take it."
Yeah.
And then same with her. I left corporate and then joined, and then that's it. That's
Was
how
that
I-
mid-pandemic for you?
That was, yeah, it was 2020 in August.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I came over
Before I did.
just
Officially.
before in
Officially.
May.
Yeah.
In May of 2020. The pandemic was like just now hitting real hard. Like we were all shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a crazy choice to leave corporate, to leave stability, and go work at this tattoo shop. It worked out.
Yeah.
It worked
And
out.
that's how we met.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
From that.
Yeah.
We
In the
just
middle
kept
of the
showing up.
pandemic.
Middle of pandemic,
In the
it just
middle of
kept
the
showing
pandemic.
up.
Yeah.
And then boom. And now I was telling her, it's crazy. I've seen her daughter grow up. I'm like, that's, dang.
Yeah, she grew up in that tattoo
Dang,
shop.
she hated
Yeah.
me too.
Man, okay, don't take that personal. She
She hated.
she judged
She
everybody.
hated me. She's like, "Oh no, not him, not him." And I was like, "Okay."
Well,
whatever.
and now every time she sees Rose, she's like, "Hey, dance battle."
Dance battle.
Oh,
Cartwheels.
how cute.
Cartwheels.
Can I draw on your tattoos? And I'm like, "You should."
Yeah.
Oh, the blue stays on longer.
Okay, yay, the blue worked.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It works better than any of the other ones.
Yes.
What'd she use on you?
The-
Red, blue, and green?
I got a picture somewhere. But yeah, the blue
Okay.
stayed on longer.
Good to know.
Yeah. I'm her daughter's coloring book.
Yeah.
I think it was like my third session with her.
Oh, how
And
fun.
so she clocked in probably like 5 hours with me. So
Yeah, that's probably right.
yeah.
That's probably right.
What does your daughter say? Does she think that's the coolest job?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if she thinks it's the coolest. I think because she grew up there, it's super normal.
Yeah, the
She's
norm
like,
for
"What are you
her."
talking about?" But she does love it, and she enjoys it, and she likes the idea of being a tattoo artist. And now, for a while, she was telling me that she wanted to be a tattoo artist when she grew up, and then also she wants to be a massage therapist, and then also she wants to be a lifeguard. So like, we're all over the place.
Okay, that's okay.
But she's very much an artist. She loves art of all forms, but coloring is like,
It's her thing.
yeah,
On
it's the
road.
top of the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, it's safe to say we're all tatted.
Yeah.
She got her first
I got my
tattoo.
first tattoo. It took me 30 years, but
Yay. Well, sometimes
got
it'd be
it.
like that.
yeah,
Yay. What
I
is
don't regret it. It's a little rose.
in significance or just because you
I-
wanted one?
Both,
Love
I
it.
think. Yeah.
Good.
And I don't regret it. And
Good.
I'm like, look, everybody. Oh, I
Proud
love
of
it.
it?
I am proud of it.
Good.
But it's true what they say that once you get your first tattoo, you start thinking.
bug gets ya. That's
Yes.
real.
It is really real. I did not
is
think
real.
so. Ro told me, he's like, all right.
You're gonna get another one.
Yeah.
You're going to get
I was
another
like,
one.
You're gonna
here
go whole
soon."
flower bed. You know, you're gonna want a whole sleeve of flowers.
Yeah.
So when's your next session? That's the most important question.
I need to.
And you thought
I
about
need
it.
to
And let me
book
see your
that.
Pinterest. Let me see your
I
TikTok.
need
Let me
to.
see how many times you saved a specific tattoo.
How many times I
Uh-huh.
Pinterest?
Pinterest.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty neat though. But I love it. I don't regret it. My parents were so iffy about it at first,
Yeah.
but I'm like, whatever.
It's
I'm
your
going for
body.
it. Yeah. You know,
It's
I'm
your
old
body.
enough. You know.
Yeah, right? I'm an adult.
Whatever. I'm an adult. you
Yeah,
know.
that's right.
Yeah.
And you only live once.
Exactly. I actually got my husband to get one too.
Really?
Yeah.
Is
So-
that
did
his
he
first?
get it?
Yeah, that was his first too.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, then I thought
That
being
was
in the
his
military, I thought
first
he
too.
have already.
No.
Oh, wow.
None of
Okay.
it. No one in his family has a tattoo, and I don't know. I guess he's like, well, you're getting one. Maybe I'll get one too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He pulled up, bet you won't do it. Like, if you
yeah.
do it, I'll do it.
I almost chickened out. Actually, I was in parking. I got it at the Lotus tattoo,
Blue Lotus, yeah.
and I almost chickened out. I'm like, let's go. I don't like needles. You know. Has anyone
it a lot.
ever passed out?
No.
No.
No. We've had a girl, we had a girl who, she was maybe like an hour in, and she was talking about how she was feeling a little lightheaded, and Katie was tattooing her at the time. She was like, we can take a break, you know, anytime you need it. And she tried to hang in there for a little bit longer, and then she was like, yeah, I think I need a break. So Katie stepped back, took her gloves off, got her a bottle of water. She said she needed to go to the bathroom, and she made it to the bathroom, and we heard the door shut right before a crash and tumble happened.
Oh man.
And so we ran over there and like we were like, "You okay?" And she was on the floor. She didn't pass out, but she did lose her footing. She got lightheaded enough to where she lost her footing and fell. But that's the only time I can recall. There has been a young guy who vomited because I think he was just so nervous. And he was incredibly nervous. It was his first tattoo. He was very young.
Yeah, I mean, first tattoos are
It's a big
nerve-wracking.
deal,
Yeah.
especially if you have a problem with needles, which he did. And so it took a lot. It took a lot for him. But I mean, like, he threw up and we cleaned up, made sure he was still good. And he finished the tattoo and did just fine after that. But
I've always wanted to ask someone, like a tattoo artist, I'm like, has anyone passed out? Like,
no.
chickened out?
I know. I've
No.
seen people
Last
fall
minute.
asleep.
A lot of people fall asleep.
I almost hit my tattoo. I almost hit Ramaya
Really?
with my elbow.
Well,
Because
Yeah,
they
the
hit a
elbow's tough.
spot? Or?
Yeah, like she was tattooing like down here, and I'm trying to chill and just go like this, and now she's tattooing, and then she readjusts and hits something, and
then
my
boom,
whole arm
reflex.
just like went like this, and she's standing right here, and I just do this real quick, and then she's like, "Bro, I'm going with the needle."
right? Yeah. She'll
I'm
do
like,
it
"Hey,
too.
it's just a reflex, you know. I
She'll
don't,
do
I don't
it
want to
too.
hit you. It just happened."
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, I almost hit my tattoo artist getting tattooed.
Well, it's true because when it's a small, but when I got closer to like the bone, she told me the tendon, it's more delicate. Like
Yeah.
it hurts a little bit more.
It does.
I mean, this is nothing, but I can't imagine. People say back here behind your ear is bad. I've never had one, but people always say that. They're like,
Uh-huh.
oh, behind your ear is pretty bad. Or ankle.
The ankle gets spicy. But so here's the thing. Everyone has a different experience. Your body to you feels a lot different than how my body feels to me. So like behind the ear, meh. The ankle though, that tore me up pretty good. The tops of my shoulders is my least favorite spot to get tattooed. I hate it. It is terrible. A lot of women will complain about this being the super tender spot. My theory is that women carry a lot of their stress and tension in their neck and shoulders. So like, ouch. For men, the chest is real sensitive. I have, well, on that note, and I think you might get a kick out of this, men are the worst clients. They do not handle it nearly as well as gracefully
100%.
as women.
Not just my experience, but just witnessing guys
You've
getting
recorded
tattooed.
a lot of tattoo sessions.
Yeah.
And it's usually men who are like whining the most or like needing to take the most breaks. A woman's gonna sit there and handle it.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I told Ro, I'm like, I gave birth twice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I could do that,
Yeah.
then I can handle a little bit,
Yeah.
with the needle.
It's very real. It's
Yeah.
very true. But my ankles are real tough for me. Ankles are a problem for a lot of people. Feet are really sensitive and a problem for a lot of people. But then there are some crazies who come in and they're just like total champs. They're just totally unaffected. And that's very impressive to find. Not very common.
Yeah.
But yeah, people handle pain differently.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Have you ever met someone fully like a bodysuit? Like full on, like head to toe? Because I just did, like Thursday.
Really?
This past Thursday, yeah.
Like you're not seeing skin.
All you see is a face.
Just ink.
Like his face is the only thing that wasn't tatted.
Yeah?
And like the palm of his hands. So I was at Chili's, out of all places,
Here in town.
here in town.
Yeah.
And then I'm just with my friend, we're eating, we're drinking or whatever, and I just see this one dude just by himself come in, and he's almost head to toe tatted. He has a tattoo on his cheek. And if you look at him, he looks good with tattoos.
Yeah.
He's tall, he's fit, and like if he didn't have tattoos, I'm like, you should really get some tattoos. So I saw it and I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm eating, he's about to pay, and so first thing I asked him, I was like, hey, how many hours do you have on your body? He's like, I've eaten work? I was like, yeah, I've eaten work. And he's like, I got 8 years. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, I just got out of prison 2 days ago. I'm like, oh, okay. You
For
just
real?
got, for real, 100%.
Because funny joke.
Uh-huh.
That'd be a real funny joke.
Yeah,
Like, he's
it would
being
be.
serious.
He was being dead serious.
Okay.
Dead serious. And he's
Cool.
like, yeah, man, I just got this phone. Like, I don't even got a credit card. Like, I just got out. I'm like, oh, hey, welcome back. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome back to
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And so someone was like, what are you going for? I was like, I don't know. I didn't ask, but what if he did something really, really bad? And I said, welcome back. You know, he probably did like some robbery. Oh yeah, welcome back. Do it again or something. I don't know.
Right. Funny.
And so I asked him,
She
yeah, I got
does.
8 hours worth. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, so
insane.
what did y'all do? What's y'all's method in prison to get tattooed? He said that they had like those small personal fans, broke the motor out of it, and then just started doing like centrifugal force. So basically how your engine works, you know, using like circular rotation to have horizontal rotation. So they broke a fan motor, made their own needles. And I was like, so y'all use petroleum jelly or whatever, baby oil for ink? He's like, yeah, how do you know that? And I was like, don't worry about how I know that. And I was like, I'm just a curious guy. You know, I watch how it's made.
You
And
are
so,
a curious guy.
And so, do you know how they do it? I know like 10% of how they make ink in prison.
So you know what's really cool? No, I don't. To answer your question, I have no idea how they do that.
They burn something, like they have like this metal canister, and they burn something, and then the soot will sit on top, and they scrape the soot, and then they put it in petroleum jelly, and then after that, I don't know what else they do. So they collect soot and they put it in jelly, and then that is their ink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rock on. So I don't know how much you're aware of like the technique, but we hand poke. We hand poke only. So we don't use machines at all. We use the same needles and the same ink that a conventional shop uses. We just, instead of like attaching it to the machine and letting the machine power that rhythm, we tape that needle to a chopstick just for me to hold on to something. And then we do our tattoos one dot at a time. So just by hand, just do.
It's insane.
It's wild. It's so tedious. It takes a lot more time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like longer time, right?
It takes a lot more time. It is just as permanent. Everything you can see on my body currently has been hand poked. Well, that's a lie. This guy was not hand poked, but a lot of the people who are critical of our technique, who don't know what we're doing, they've never seen our professional licensed space. They are just going to call it a prison tat, which is super funny to me because prison tats don't happen like that.
Yeah. They don't hand poke.
They're not hand
he
poking.
called it
They're
picking.
using machines.
He called it what?
Picking.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I told him, yeah, we do it hand poked. He's like, what? I was like, by hand. He's like, oh, you pick it. I'm like, sure. Yeah, we pick it.
Picking. Stick and poke is another term.
Yeah.
I've heard stick and poke, yeah.
I hate it.
prison tattoo.
It's so annoying.
Just
Prison
that.
tat, stick and poke,
Yeah.
picking, which is fine. Terms are just terms, right? They're just words. But the unfortunate part is that all terms come with a stigma. So like when you say stick and poke, you think of your brother's cousin's girlfriend's kitchen, you know, from 16-year-olds who
Yeah.
are playing around with a safety pin or something, you know, something silly. And
Yeah,
it's
always
very
a
much
smiley face.
not what we're doing.
It's always a smiley face.
True.
Every single first hand poke tattoo is a smiley face.
That's true. I
It's
have
two
seen-
messed up dots and a half, you know, that's it.
yeah.
And it's so ugly.
Yeah.
And it's always in the ankle
beautiful.
too.
And the recovery is the same.
Faster.
No, it heals
Faster.
a lot more efficiently, which is the main reason why people love it so much. So because you're going to sit there for twice the time to get a piece of work, but also your healing time is cut down from a 2-week period to like a 3 or 4 day period.
Come by on Thursday. For real.
Oh yeah, I'm going to tattoo Will
I'm
on
getting
Thursday.
tattooed on Thursday.
Yeah,
Oh, you are?
I'll be
Yeah.
working on his sleeve.
Yeah, we're working something. I don't know what
So
we're
that's
doing.
your
Yeah.
do whatever.
This is their art.
Yeah.
I have very little control to what
What
goes
are
on
you
this art.
getting?
I don't know.
You know, I
Whatever
He
she
doesn't
wants.
know. He never knows before he says.
Whatever she wants to put on me. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're doing
Just building off that sleeve.
something.
Yeah.
How big?
Whatever.
You're just showing up.
Whatever
Get
she
done
wants to
in-
You're
do.
just showing
I'm
up.
just showing
3
up and-
hours?
Yeah.
Is that our session time?
Yeah. 3 hours in the chairs. We say 3 hours, but for us it's like however long it takes.
However long it takes.
Yeah. Sometimes we gossip for 2 hours. And it's a 2-hour session. So I don't know. We're just there. But yeah, come by Thursday. We get
Thursday.
in from
Nice.
6 to 9.
6
So
to
you-
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring the kids. Oh my God, Rose getting stabbed.
I know,
Yeah,
right? That'd be
for
neat for
fun.
them to see. That would be
It
neat.
is. It's cool. It's really laid back, a super chill environment. We're really proud of the space. We did a lot of work. But, yeah, it's cool. It's just real chill.
Has your style evolved throughout the years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, ugh. You know, the worst part about being an artist who permanently marks other people's bodies that they have to carry on for the rest of their life, is that you're always getting better, right? No matter what profession you're in.
Exactly. You're always
improving. You always want to be better.
Of course.
So the work I do on Row on Thursday is going to be great. And then the work I do a year from now is going to be so much better than the work I do on other. So like,
Of course.
that kind of sucks. My style absolutely has changed. In the beginning, when you're an apprentice, you're doing whatever people are willing to let you do. And most of that is Pinterest requests. You know, people
They show
saying,
your,
yeah,
I want this.
I love this, I want this. And you're like, okay, cool. Love the originality. Thanks for letting me be creative, you know? But that's part of it. And you don't know, I mean, like, everything that we experience is borrowed from somewhere else. Nothing's new anymore. And I'm someone is going to come back and be like, and show me something new, I'm sure. But,
I like hearing those conversations. This is original.
okay.
Sure.
Only that I've seen it 1,800 times before.
Yeah.
But it allows you a chance to step into the world of art. You don't know until you start consuming. You don't know what you like. You don't know what you want until you consume things that you like and you want. And so Pinterest offers the same thing. It offers all the inspiration. I use Pinterest as an artist. I will never recreate something that someone has done and posted on Pinterest. I'm not going to steal from someone else, but to get inspiration.
Of course.
Absolutely. And so in the beginning, a lot of Pinterest, a lot of, hey, I love this infinity symbol with mom through it. And I'm like, I bet you do. Cool. And so like, I'll recreate it, you know, so it's original, you know, custom and unique to the client.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, that's all you're doing. You're doing what's asked of you. And then if you're good at it and you make good connection and you develop a clientele, then you can start making your own art and posting your own stuff. And then people are like, ooh, I like that. And that's when things get fun, is when you start to create something that people are just wanting to buy.
Yeah.
Which is like the best compliment as an artist, when a client can come to you and go like, whatever you want to do. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Heaven. Great. Let's do that.
How fun.
And so I developed like that super quickly. Luckily, I mean, like I put a lot of hard work in it, but once that started happening, where I got to just play around with whatever was in my head and like create it on paper, and like people started buying that, and then I started going like, ooh, cool. So I don't have to do just solid line work. I don't have to just do American traditional roses. I could do whatever I want to do, and then your style, your vision, your everything really starts to evolve at that point when you have creative freedom and you're not like restricted by everything else. Yeah.
That is so
I always
neat.
tell people, like, I always ask people, like, is there like your tattoo, is there a meaning, or is it just because? And then they'll tell me their story, whatever. And they're like, what does yours mean? And I was like, my right arm has no meaning, but my left arm does have meaning. And they always ask me, like, well, who does your tattoos, or what do you tell them? And I'm like, I feel fortunate that I've known you and the crew for 5+ years. So now it's like, you know me, I know you. So I'm just whatever, you know. I trust their input. If it looks good on me, it looks good on me. And if it doesn't, then I have it forever. You know, it's
no
just
big
there.
deal.
It's no big deal. It's just there forever. But they always tell me, like, why would you just let them do whatever they want? I'm like, that's how you get the best work, dude.
It is how you get the best
It's
work.
the best work. First, be a friend. All right, that's what I tell people. Like, if you're gonna find an artist, be like an FBI agent. Stalk them. Know what year they graduated high school in. You know, what kind of car do they drive?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
ain't crazy. I don't know.
And then like figure out if you like that style.
Yeah.
And then I think ever since, apart from y'all, there's only one girl from Golden Cicada that I'm like, okay, I like her. But everybody else, I'm like, I like the art, but I just don't like them.
Like you're not connecting
I'm
with
not
that
connecting
artist.
with the person.
Which
I like
is
the art,
super
but I don't like the
important.
person. Which is hard to say, but it's true.
I mean, maybe the most important part though is
Mm-hmm.
finding an artist that you connect with. Like obviously you want to like the art, the work that's going to be on your body for the rest of your life. That's important. But then also like to have a good connection with the person you're working with, so that you know that you're being heard, and you know that the things that you're hearing back are true and like in your best interest. All of that matters. In addition to what's happening in that real moment, in that time, you're also carrying that rose on your wrist for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that rose means something to you, whether it's just because you wanted it or it actually has sentimental value. It exists on your body for the rest of your life. And when you got that, you had an experience. you had a conversation with somebody when that happened. And if you were being made to feel like you were inferior or stupid or another basic bitch or whatever, that matters.
Of course. I was just going to say that I think the whole experience too
Yeah.
completely matters. The entire thing, not just the meaning of it, but you walking in through those doors.
In that moment.
The
Yes.
environment of it, how welcomed you feel, and once you sit down.
Yes.
That
You
totally
carry that
matters.
memory. for the
Yes,
rest of your
you
life.
really do.
It matters.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
there been a tattoo that has like what has a deep meaning where they made you cry?
Yes,
or-
that's one of my questions I was going to ask you.
Have I had one?
No, like do you have one and have you done one?
Have you tattooed someone that with a deep meaning?
Oh God, all the time. Oh man, yes, and some of them are heavy. We talk there was a minute where we felt like we being our crew felt like every week we were experiencing like this collection of clientele who were just trauma dumping constantly. There's just like so much bad was happening in the world, which I mean, we've been living in a dumpster fire. So you expect things like that when the world is struggling, everyone's struggling. But without a doubt, my point, sorry. You're gonna have to edit.
We ramble.
w-
You know how it goes.
There was a point in time, though, where we felt like we were going to need to make an announcement, a public one, to say like, hey,
I remember this.
absolutely,
Yeah, I
it got
remember this.
bad.
Yeah.
Where we absolutely understand that tattoos are therapeutic. It's why we love them so much. It's why we love doing them so much. It is a place of solace, this environment that we've created, and we get that. But also, like, you can't just come in and just dump all of your trauma and all of this weight on your artist who's trying to create a good experience for you, and expect it not to affect us in some kind of way. We are only so strong, but it got better.
That deep
Yeah.
that you had to
Deep
almost
and
make a
heavy.
public
100%.
announcement.
When I ran the page for the previous shop, there were conversations. I would record the conversations and I would make the post as like mini podcast episodes.
Yeah.
So basically, like, she's tattooing you, but I put her face on the video. Your face is not in it. It's just a tattoo. That's about it.
And
for
the
privacy.
conversation.
And the
Yeah.
conversation. I record for 30 minutes, and out of 30 minutes, I'll pick 40 seconds. But I'm listening to 30 minutes worth of a conversation, and some of these conversations are like, dang, like I cannot put any of this out there. Whether they're like okay with it, I'm like, I'm still not gonna put any of this out there.
Because it was that deep.
It was that deep. It was that too, like, either too personal, or I'm like, it doesn't trigger me, it doesn't trigger them, but it's gonna trigger somebody else, and they're gonna comment something, and that one comment is gonna be viral, and it's gonna go spread it like wildfire, or whatever. And so there are conversations that I've heard, and I'm like, I can't post it.
Can't
I
do anything with that.
Can't do anything
Yeah,
about it.
it's
And I'm
gotta
like,
remain where
and
it's
the
at.
next time I see them, I'm like, dang, like I know you don't know, they don't know that I know, but now I know their story or their trauma, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, like when she was saying like, there's only so much that we can handle. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I think-
I don't know what to
Heartbreaking.
do. Like, do I feel comfortable going back to them? Like, hey, can I record again? You know, or hey, are you okay with just me being in the room, or something like that? And so it gets heavy.
It does get heavy.
I bet that takes like a connection with your tattoo artist, you know, to sit there and dump all of that, such a big, meaningful tat, you know. But then again, you as a tattoo artist, how is it going to affect you? Is it going to trigger something?
Right.
You know, how are you going to go home to your family in a way if it's that deep?
God, it's not easy.
Yeah, I bet.
But you know, I have gotten plenty of tattoos that were like very emotionally impactful for me, and I was getting them for like heavy reasons. And I do wish in those moments that I would have had a good enough relationship with my tattoo artist to be able to talk about it, to be able to go like, yeah, I got this because my grandmother, who was like really shitty to me, ended up being like the most impactful person in my life, and now I'm getting this tattoo in memory of her, and there's so much that I wish I would have told her, and like stuff like that, which is I just regurgitated someone else's story. It's a common one. That's a common story. And then there are ones that are like so much worse, that are related to abuse or like childhood traumas
Yeah.
that they only discovered through therapy, like legit therapy. And it's tough, and to be able to provide a place of solace is important. If you have the wherewithal to do it, you should, you know. And I say should. I think should is a terrible word. I don't think you should do anything, but if you can and you want to, then I feel like it's a good thing to show up for people. The rewarding part is so I had a client who, her and her husband were struggling with fertility for like a really long time. And they were doing IVF, and I may get some of these facts a little weird and wonky, but they were doing IVF and they had the picture of a successful embryo. And it was the last one that was available to them, and it didn't take. And I had been friends with this client for quite some time. And so like, that story was hard to hear. They were so at peace and okay with it, but the tattoo that they were getting was a replica of that image. And then maybe like a year later, they came back saying that they were successful on their own. And I don't know, it was just like such a wonderful story. And so like to live through the ebb and flow with people is the best part about it. When you do get to make a connection with someone and they keep coming back to you, and then you're not just getting the one-off trauma stories, you're getting like the whole journey of everything that they go through in life, and that's the best part.
I bet it's really rewarding.
It's the best part, yeah, for sure.
Do you have you like on your body? Do you have like the most meaningful and the one that like does not?
That's so dumb.
That's so dumb. Which one's the most dumb one? I feel like those are the most easiest one to spot out.
The most dumb?
Yeah.
You have a beautiful sleeve. Like,
thank you. I collected a lot of these before I knew that I was going to be a tattoo artist. And I think had I known, again, I probably wouldn't change anything. But man, if I knew then what I know now, it'd look super different. I don't know about a dumb one. I got this praying mantis for no real reason other than just them being
Just 'cause.
cool. Yeah.
What's up with this VIP bracelet? Have you ever like used it in places and you're like, hey, VIP?
No, you don't know the story of the VIP
I don't
bracelet?
know. I just know that you've gotten it, but I don't know the story behind it.
I'm shocked. So the studio I worked at previously, we would travel to Georgia and tattoo at this music festival every year. It was called Wildwood Revival. It was so much fun. And when we would go, we would like pack up all of our equipment. We'd travel on the road for like 16 hours to get to Georgia and tattoo for this, for the VIPs and the musicians only at this festival.
cool.
So in order to be accessible, you had to have a VIP bracelet to get into this like secluded area that we were at, including us. We also had to have VIP bracelets so that we could like step out and get some food and come back with no problem. And so the first year that I went, this bracelet was the VIP bracelet that we got. And I just loved the experience so much. It was everything I ever could have possibly wanted out of that experience is what I got. And so we got back and I was like, that's going.
That's
I
cool.
want that.
I like
want
that.
that forever.
That's
Oh.
neat.
So I got the
Yeah, never
VIP
knew.
bracelet
That's
from
neat.
2019 Wildwood.
Oh, wow.
Is
Yeah,
what that is.
never knew. Never
Yeah.
knew that was the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool story.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
which one has the most meaning behind it?
They all have.
I love your hand.
Okay, so my hand
It's gorgeous.
is probably my favorite. Maybe not the most meaning,
Okay, we'll
but
go
it's
with
probably
that.
my favorite.
We'll go with favorite.
I am the only person. Well, that's not true. But my hand is all done by me. The beetle was the first thing that I did, and I did it in a moment when I really started to figure out how I liked to tattoo, like stylistically, what I liked to focus on, which were like dot shading and gradients and like creating dimension with dots, and which makes sense. Like we're all dot by dot, but all of the other artists, apart from Xander, are line focused. They have all these line designs, and I just was so over line work, and I do line work just fine, but the challenge was lost on me, where I really wanted to create like a solid, bold edge with just dots. I didn't want to like line it out. Anyway, I'm getting super technical. So I did the beetle when I really discovered who I was as an artist, And then I continued to play with color, and then I added a dot, dot, dash, dot on the tips of my fingers. And that's a letter F for my daughter, Frankie. An R, W, Y, and an S for reap what you sow. The beetle is just kind of like, I don't know, an expression of myself. Everything's an expression of yourself, I guess. But so
It is beautiful.
thank
It
you.
is pretty.
I've always loved my hands. My best friend, when she figured out that I was going to be a tattoo artist, she was very upset with me, only because she knew that I would be covered in tattoos, and she felt like I deserved better in my life. We are not the same. We're not the same people. But she made me promise that I would never tattoo my own hand, or never get my hands tattooed. And I told her that I wouldn't get my hands tattooed.
Yeah.
And so my right hand remains blank.
Yeah.
Part of that is because of my promise to her. I'm not scared to break promise, but mostly because I cannot tattoo my own hand with my left, which is probably the only reason why. Like, if we're being super real, that's probably it, because I do love having my hand tattooed.
I think it's so pretty. Like, I've seen women with their, and I'm like, that is beautiful. I think it's so pretty.
I don't think guys can pull it off as much. And all I see guys do is just the skeletal hands. Or like the face.
Oh, blah.
I'm not a fan of the face, and they do this all the time.
Oh yeah.
I know it's so cheesy and it's dumb.
It is.
Right? we look and we judge. Okay. Oh, I do. I don't.
So talking about that, a question I had: it's what's a tattoo trend you secretly can't stand?
Oh, that makes so many enemies.
Look, I'll start off. Roman numerals. Okay. So many of them. There's a
There are
lot
Roman
of
numerals.
them. Quit with the line and the clock. Okay.
The line and the clock is
Stop
rough.
with the roses. Sometimes they look like cabbages or lettuce.
It's true.
What else?
If you're going to get floral, okay, here's my pitch about floral, because I do not like doing floral. I do a lot of floral work. A lot of people ask me for floral. I will very gladly do floral for you, but I am not an expert in floral. I don't really care. I love it out here in real life. I love plants. I love flowers. I love all the things. I have plenty of flowers on my body. But to tattoo them, that's not my expertise. I will point you in the right direction, which is Katie Meadows, Tiny Tattooist. But florals are cliche for a reason. And I tell people this all the time. When they go to knock on florals, they're cliche for a reason. They're beautiful. They're timeless. And if they're done by the right artist, they look phenomenal. They won't look like a cabbage.
I'm not a fan of the roses because they're so overplayed.
There
Everything
it is.
else, I love it.
It
You
is-
know,
it's true.
get a tulip, get a sunflower, whatever. But roses are just so overplayed.
They are.
I'm like,
There are a lot of roses out
There's
there.
a lot of roses.
Yeah.
So,
There are a lot of roses.
but I hate like the cliche one, like the line and the clock, the rose. I've seen a lot of compasses.
A lot of compasses. Compasses are a thing.
I have not seen a lot of infinity signs, but if I see an infinity sign, I'm like, really? You're that original?
Oh, I've seen so many infinity signs. There are a lot of those. That was a trend for a really long time, and now they're not nearly as popular as they used to be.
No.
The God is greater than the ups and downs.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
That one's a lot. That's a lot. A lot of people have that, and I get it. The symbolism is cool. The structure of it is cool. Symmetrically, it reads really well. Like, there are a lot of reasons why artistically it makes sense. It's great. The meaning is there, etc. The problem that I have with stuff like that is that everyone else also has that tattoo. And I don't know. I feel I like originality. If there's an opportunity to make something unique and different for you, custom for you, I feel like you should do it. I don't feel like everyone should have the same tattoos on their bodies. Now, that being said, I have some kanji symbols that for sure exist on other people. I have some Roman numerals here. Now, I put my Roman numerals in a cool way, but I do own some Roman numerals on my body.
This gorilla that's a decal on a lot of cars. This gorilla, if you look up gorilla, just like PNG or clip art or whatever, you'll see this is the first thing you see on Google. And that's my first big tattoo. And I've seen this on decals on cars. I've seen this on logos. And so this is my, like, I wish I took more time to think about.
Really?
Yeah. I like the gorilla. I still would have gotten a gorilla.
Yeah.
I just wish I would have taken the time to design that
Pivot
look.
in
different.
a little
Yeah.
kind of way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still like it, but it's like one of
It's
those, grab it from Google and just put
Grab
it on
it
me.
from Google.
That's it. That's all I did on that one. Grab it from Google and that's it.
Yeah.
That was the last Google tattoo I got.
Well, yeah, because you said that other arm.
Yeah, so my
is
passport.
your
These
passport.
are pictures that I will take and give to the artist. Like, hey, this is what I want on my arm, and I don't think I'll ever have a favorite
I like
tattoo.
that.
I'll have a favorite limb.
I like that. I like that a lot, though.
Yeah, because that to me is the originality. I took a picture, recreate this picture.
From this experience
From this
that
experience.
I had.
Yeah,
that I
kind of
really
like your.
appreciate.
Yeah, like so
Yeah.
like same with the VIP.
That's pretty
Yeah.
neat.
And so now I'll have, when I come back from my trip, I'll have 2 more tattoos. I can't get them there because I know I have no time to get them in that country. So when I
Yeah.
come back, I'll go back to NAC and then get my my stamp from that
Yeah.
country. And so
That's neat.
I like
yeah,
it. It's a
and
cool
then this is
approach.
only machine tattoos, and this is only hand poke tattoos. So people are like, "What's the difference?" I'm like, "Well, you take a look." And some people have not told it, like, other than like the shading that Xander has done. I think on the solid lines that you've done over here, they're like, "That's hand poked." I was like, "Yeah, that's hand poked." They're like, "Dang." I was like, "Yeah, you should get one." They're like, "Does it hurt?" I hate. Oh, okay.
Does it hurt?
Does it hurt?
Yeah.
Of course. If I slap you, does it hurt? Yes.
Yeah.
If a little kid pulls your hair, it's gonna hurt the same way. Of course it hurts. Does it hurt less? It depends on you, okay?
Depends on you.
Yeah, of
Depends on where
course.
you're getting it.
Hey, just be a bitch like me.
Depends
Get some
on the
numbing cream.
artist.
Put some numbing cream on. That's what I did. Shoot. It does hurt, okay?
It
And
does
Do
hurt.
people put on numbing cream?
Some people do. I had a client last week who used numbing cream. I was tattooing her throat. And
I saw that. That was
Oh,
wicked.
she had some machine pieces already here, and she hired me to do the filler throughout it. And so, but when she got these machine pieces, it was miserable. She
I
had
bet,
a really hard
yeah.
time. And so she came like super prepared and numbed up, and it was great. She had a great time. I think she would have been fine without it. I think her prior trauma with how painful that was like set her up for some high anxiety. But she did fine. And but a lot of people will do that, anticipating it being painful or knowing that, like, let's see, Katie had a client, I don't know, a couple weeks ago who is getting this massive body project, a snake that is like wrapping in all kinds
That's
of
cool.
ways.
That was dope.
But half of that piece is on her torso, which is never going to be fun. And no matter how or where you get it. And so she used numbing cream for that. But numbing cream is not a very common occurrence in our studio and not something that most people ask for. I think if you know that it's going to hurt, you already have something there, and you know that you're going to be in a lot of pain, yeah, come lubed up, I guess. But,
Oh yeah. I use numbing cream in my armpit.
yeah.
Like right here. This was my most recent.
Yeah.
And then Marki did it, but yeah, I put numbing
That's
cream
a
here, and it's
spicy
cool.
area.
I like numbing cream for the like spots that hurt the most.
You're just gonna need it
I
sometimes.
just felt the pressure. I didn't feel the pain, and I was like, oh, this is super cool. I should start using this all the time.
There is also, just for the record, there is no shame in using numbing cream. Those products were created for a reason.
Correct. Yeah.
I
I was just gonna say that.
Don't put yourself through extra torture if you don't want to. Buy yourself some
I want
numbing
to.
cream.
I want to have a conversation, not
Exactly. Not be
talk.
cringing or something.
Right?
Yeah.
And then also test it on yourself first. Always test whatever products you have. Don't show up on the day. This is your first experience with numbing cream, and then all of a sudden you've got a rash that I have to battle.
What's the weirdest tattoo?
I feel like I know those. I feel like I know the answer to that one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I feel like I do. I don't know if I do.
Oh, interesting. I'm
Wildwood?
curious. Oh.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
another
that's
one.
a good one. Okay, well, so I get asked this question a lot. Like, what's the strangest or most weird request that you've had? And unfortunately for me, I did not get to do this tattoo. It was a ridiculous request that this guy was making, and I'd already tattooed him plenty of times before. We had a really great relationship, and he was like, Marki. And I was like, damn it, Brandon, what? And I just knew something crazy was coming. And he was like, I need you to do something real weird for me. And I was like, okay, what is it? And he said, I want a tattoo of Homer Simpson. No, wait. Homer Simpson holding a bag of chicharrones, but they're upside down and wearing some kind of shirt, a specific shirt. Anyway, so strange.
Yeah.
And his wife, maybe girlfriend at the time, was sitting in that corner going, "Don't you do it. Don't you better not do it." And I was looking at her, and I was looking at him, and I was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" She's not really sure that you.
Yeah.
And he was like, No, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. And she was like, "Is it? Is it gonna be fun?" And I was like, "Brandon."
Are you
I
sure?
feel like she's real serious. And he kept going, and I was like, "Okay." And then as they were leaving, she was like, "I swear to God, Brandon." The next day, I got a message from Brandon saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna get that tattoo." I was like, I get it. No offense. I understand entirely. So that didn't happen. But at what? But
okay, good segue.
at Wildwood. So Wildwood happens in Georgia. We always prepare like a flash design set to take, and that year we put a peach on the flash design. One of the musicians walked into the room, and I mean, he just knows how to own a room. Of course, he's a performer. He walks in and he goes, I want a peach tattooed on my peach. And looked around, and I was standing there waiting for the next client to come in, and he was like, "You're gonna do it." And I
Of
was like,
course.
"Okay." And he's like, "You tattoo a peach on peach?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, sure." The hairiest man I've ever met in my entire life.
Bitch, he's a weed whacker.
I mean, and I have a photo.
You have a photo of his peach?
No, well, yes, of course. You take a photo of every tattoo you do. But I have a photo of us taking a selfie afterwards, and his beard is just so long, and it's like all in my face. He's being super sleuth. His ass had the same amount of hair. It took 4 razors to clear the spot on his butt cheek for me to put this stencil down. I tattooed this peach on his peach, and I'm working just on his butt, and he goes, "Hey, sign it." And I was like, "Absolutely not."
He told you that too?
"Please sign it. Would you please sign my tattoo? I want you to sign it." And I was like with ink, like with this,
like a
He's
Sharpie.
like this. And I was like, "No, absolutely not." And he was like, I insist.
Okay.
And I was like, "I will put my watermark next to this design." And he was like, "I'll take it." And so there's a peach tattooed on his butt cheek with my little watermark right next to it.
Nice.
On some random musician agency.
I didn't know about the watermark. But,
Yeah.
Oh, I knew the
Yeah.
peach, but I didn't know about the watermark.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a good one. I forgot about that. I'm glad
Dang,
you
that's the
remembered.
only one I know that you're like the weird one. Well, that's the one that stuck out to me the most because, like, yeah, she tattooed a butt cheek.
I did tattoo a butt cheek.
Left or
Very,
right?
very hairy.
Left or right?
Yeah, left or right?
It was the left cheek.
Left, outside, up, like dead center cheek.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Juicy part. A juicy peach.
Yeah.
On the
Is
juiciest
that
part of his
like
peach.
real talk? Is that hard because it's like it digs in more? Don't you need like a solid, firm piece of skin?
So a lot of people ask me if my right hand ever gets tired from, like I'm doing everything by hand. So like that's just a constant motion. But it's not really the right hand. It's the left hand because you have to stretch the skin. It needs to be taut. So like the bounce of the skin isn't really a problem if I can stretch it well enough.
Okay.
And you just got to be super honest with your client. I told him, I was like, "Look, I'm going to push and pull a lot on this butt cheek right here." And he was like, "I'm so ready for it." He was terrified. And so that's what it required, was just like a lot of pressure, a lot of like pushing and pulling and keeping the skin taut. But the bounciness,
Okay.
not really too much of a problem if you can get a
Did
stretch on
you
it.
ever have to tell them to like flex?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Flex that booty cheek.
No. Didn't have to, but it did.
Would you tattoo another butt cheek?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
On a less hairier person?
I mean, I'm not worried about the hair. I know how to shave well.
Is waxing not a technique to remove hair?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that.
So the only problem with that is the skin, unless you are a regular waxer, you'd have no idea how your skin's going to react to waxing. Rash happens a lot with waxing. Ingrown hairs can happen. But also like you're ripping layers of skin off in addition to that hair. So like you're already causing some trauma to the skin, which is really not what we want. We're trying to uphold as much gentleness as possible, because it helps you heal better that way.
That makes
like,
sense.
waxing, maybe if you're used to it, your skin's used to it.
Not ideal.
It's not ideal. I think it's more trauma than necessary. I also don't think you should be the one shaving before you go. I think you should let your artist do that. Though most tattoo artists are not going to be using like really expensive razors and great shaving products. They are going to shave you gently and calmly and only the area that they need. And then you're getting like the absolute smoothest skin possible right before your tattoo, which is the most ideal. If you shave beforehand and you're prone to razor bumps, that's going to be an issue that we're going to have to work around. Some people just don't shave well. So like you've half-ass shaved and now we have to go in there and shave it again, which is causing trauma to the skin. So like ideally, I mean, unless you're just like an incredibly hairy person and you're going for like a large scale coverage kind of situation, just let your artist do it. It's just better that way.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That does make perfect
Now,
sense.
if I'm tattooing a whole back piece on a really hairy dude, maybe, you know, like trim it up or I don't know. You could help me out.
Some
But you don't
clippers.
have to. I don't mind standing back there for 20 minutes with multiple razors, just like getting it as smooth as possible. I don't mind doing it. It's part of my job. The amount of women who will come in and apologize for not having freshly shaved legs, I'm like, stop it. You already are under enough pressure by society to shave your legs constantly,
Right.
every single day. I don't need you coming in here with that kind of shame. I don't mind shaving your leg. It's fine.
What does an ideal client look like? Like, hey, first comer, they do these things before getting tattooed, and you're like, wow, I love them so much.
They know exactly what I do and how I do it. They've seen my work. They appreciate whatever I do originally. Like they appreciate the work that I create on my own. So you're not coming to me expecting me to do an American traditional bouquet of roses. You know it's not what I do. I don't do it. I don't like it. I don't market it for a reason. So like, I feel like I should note. I shouldn't, but I feel like I should note. If you want me to do an American traditional rose, I will. But the ideal client knows exactly what I do and how I do it. And they are allowing me at least some part of creative freedom, which doesn't mean that I have to do only what I want, but that they come to me with an idea and going, however you want to do it though. So like I want an ocean scene, but I want it to be in the shape of a heart. And however you can make that work, works for me. Cool. I can totally do that. And that is probably the most ideal client. I don't care what your skin looks like. I don't care if you have psoriasis. Like, let me know what your treatment plan is and what your skin's looking like on the day of. And if it's a flare-up day, we'll wait and we'll do it another day. I've had that happen multiple times. I am super happy to work around anything as long as you want what I do. And otherwise, let me help you find the right artist, like the artist that does do what you want. I don't know. It's important to experience. I think it's important for everyone who's interested in tattoos to experience professional hand poking. But I think it's more important for you to experience it with the right artist for you. And our studio has enough variety in styles throughout each of us to where we can absolutely pair you with the right person.
So it's you and Katie.
It's Katie and me. We're the owners and the two senior artists. There's also Ramaya, who is our other full-time studio artist. She apprenticed with us at the old studio, developed her own clientele, and then when we came over and opened the new place, she came with us. And then we have Xander, who is a part-time artist. He was also a studio artist at the old place, and he came over. So he's part-time. But Katie, Ramaya, and myself are the full-timers. And stylistically speaking, we're all very different. Also, stylistically speaking, we can do all varieties of art. It's just that
You specialize
innately. Yeah. You just, as an artist, you're going to be inspired and drawn to certain things or you're going to do things a certain way. Katie is a psycho and still does a lot of her development in paper, which is admirable, and I love it. But I will always start digitally. And then if I need to like figure out the right sizing or a right like wing off of a line or something, then I might go to paper. But yeah, everyone's different. And And that's
what makes you an artist.
That's what makes you an artist. And that's the same for designing work. It's the same for the style itself, the technique that we use, and how we create lines and how we all shade. It's all different.
And it took you 2 years, did you say?
I was an apprentice for maybe about 6 months, and then my clientele just skyrocketed. And then about a year after that is when I really started to figure out like my style and what I enjoyed. After having about maybe almost 2 years worth of tattooing whatever people asked me to do.
To really, truly
Figure it out. Yeah. Figure out what I liked and what I wanted to do.
So what advice do you give, like a future?
For
they want to be a tattoo artist.
A potential artist?
Yeah, potential artist.
So start now. It's never too late. It's also never too early. I've had plenty of kids come in with their parents getting tattooed, and they're like fascinated and they love art. And they're taking a lot of art classes, and they'll come in with their sketchbook, and I'm like, fantastic. And they're like, I think I might want to be an artist. Great. Don't stop. Like, keep going. Every artist.
Go ahead.
Every artist gets to this moment where in their period of creation of whatever work, and they go like, set it on fire. I hate it. I hate everything about this. And then it takes like maybe an extra hour of commitment or putting it aside and looking at it the next day, and then all of a sudden it clicks and you figure it out, and then you finish it, and it's the best work you've ever done. But there's always a moment where you can't stand your own work, where you'd rather just see it lit on fire. And so I encourage people all the time, like, don't get through a piece of art, even if you think it's complete. Don't get to the end of it and go like, it sucks, I hate it, I'm terrible at this. Everyone's terrible at everything at some point in time or another. And it's the practice, it's the repetition, and it's the consistency that helps you develop it a little bit more. So you don't give up, start. As soon as you figure out that you're interested in this, just do it. And that's just recreating and creating over and over again. So you don't give up. If tattooing is what you're actually interested in and you're old enough to get tattooed, find the artist that you resonate with, find the shop that you enjoy and that you could see yourself working at in the future. And then all of your spare time, and unfortunately, all of your spare money needs to be spent there. You have to invest in that studio before they're going to be willing to invest in you. It requires a lot to train an apprentice, and apprenticeships are not paid positions, but they do require a big investment from the mentor, a time investment, an energy, an intelligent, like intellectual property. Like you're investing a lot into somebody else for no payback really. And they're not getting paid either, but the best way to get your foot in the door is by literally putting your foot in the door, showing up at the studio that you're interested in, getting work, having conversations, figuring out how they flow and what their priorities are, because not all tattoo shops are the same. And you don't want to work in just any tattoo shop. Some of them are terrible. Mm-hmm. They're terrible. Yeah. So like, you invest in it, and then it does require a little bit of trust that what you give will come back to you, and it's something
Believe
you'll
in
get
yourself.
back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the ones that say, well, I can draw so I can tattoo? What's your opinion on that? Because I can relate to that when people tell me, well, I can take pictures, but I can do videos. And I'm like, sure you can.
I mean,
okay.
And maybe you can. Maybe you can draw, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people who are great tattoo artists, but don't draw well. But they can tattoo phenomenally well. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of artists like that. I've gotten work from artists like that are phenomenal at tattooing, but cannot create an original design well outside of ink and skin. It's not all the same.
Yeah.
It's really not. Photos, taking a good photo is not the same as producing a good photo.
Because I've met people that are like, oh, look at my drawings, like at the old shop. Look at my drawings. Oh, that's cool. It's heavily detailed, but that would not translate to skin.
It's not tattooable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have been working with an artist for a little while who creates phenomenal pieces, and some of them are ready to be in skin. I mean, I can't get her in skin quick enough. And some of those pieces, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that would age well. It's too fine. And paper doesn't change. this piece of paper that I'm holding, that I'm not holding, in my hand right now is not going to change. Whatever ink I put on that paper is going to stay exactly as it is. The ink that I put in this skin is constantly growing. It's constantly evolving. It's a living canvas. So nothing about it stays the same. This tattoo looks almost identical to when it was first applied, but it has changed a little bit. There are some lines that are thicker than they were before. And that's just part of it. And I think it's also a big misconception with tattooing in general is a lot of people think that it's permanent and the way it goes on today should be the way it looks in 10 years. And it's just not possible. You age. Your body is constantly aging. The level of hydration that you're at today affects the way that tattoo could, like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, ironically, getting more tattoos has made me a little bit more healthier in lifestyle.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How?
Like,
You want them to look
Do you
good.
moisturize?
I do. I'm
Do you
moisturized
really?
now.
Good.
And more water.
Yeah.
Like drinking more water.
Well, you want them to look good. So
100%.
you do what you
I
can
like,
to
you know, a
make
lot
them
of-
look good.
A lot of time and money has been into those, so I kind
Yeah.
of wanted to stay the same-ish
it.
in a long time.
Yeah.
So drinking more water, finally having like lotion, and then putting lotion on or whatever.
Yeah.
Good.
And then realizing like, hey, like this is really, really important. So less soda, honestly, less soda for me.
Yeah.
Even though I just had like a sugar-free Red Bull earlier, but still like
I mean-
less soda like on my daily basis, more water, more sun, you know, being
Yeah.
out more.
Well, I think
And-
for guys, you know how they get their arms tatted. They're like, I gotta keep up with the,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Gotta keep the form. Yeah.
And so and then now because I still want to get Xander's back design on me.
Oh, yeah.
So Xander created this back design
needs to
tattoo
happen.
that
He's
I was
the guy.
yeah.
He's the part-time.
Part-time.
Yes.
Okay.
He Sharpied this design on my back as like just a mock-up or whatever, and like I was a model and he was just sharpieing on me. And the more he did, and he took pictures, and I looked at it like, man, I really want that. But the image he had on the iPad was basically like a mannequin, like he just fit, you know. And I like how that looks, and I want to look like that mannequin. So now I'm on this weight loss journey to look like that mannequin
Yeah.
to get that tattoo
So it could look good.
on my back.
Yeah.
And so because of tattoos, now I'm like more focused on health because
Yeah.
of that reason.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for like y'all telling me, hey, if you hydrate more, like your skin tattoo
health.
looks faded because you're not drinking enough water. And if you don't eat good or drink enough water before your tattoo session, then is that when the ink gets rejected? Well, that's not the main reason, but it's partial reason.
So the biggest problem with that is that your skin will swell so fast
Uh-huh.
because it's not hydrated enough.
Yeah.
And so then because your skin is swollen, it's harder to penetrate
Yeah.
or puncture,
Yeah.
I guess is the better word. And so that's where the problem comes in is now I've got to work super hard to get this ink in, which is more trauma for your skin. And yeah, so like being more hydrated and ideally just like drown yourself in water
Yeah.
before your appointment
Okay.
absolutely will give you a better outcome.
Yeah, because now that I'm moisturizing, now I feel good going out to the beach, going out to the gym. And when I sweat, I love it when I sweat.
Ew, all
'Cause my-
sparkly.
'cause it's just
Glistening,
sparkly, but my tattoos look darker.
Skin of a killer bell.
Yeah, like my tattoos look darker.
Yeah.
They look cooler, and I'm like, heck, I'm gonna sweat even more.
Yeah.
You know, because my pores are opening up, my skin is hydrated, and I'm like, that looks cool. And then when I go to work and I'm just in the AC environment, and then like I'm not sweating as much, I look at my tattoos, I'm like, man, they look faded, they look ugly. I don't like how it looks. And then, but yeah, so it's made me focus more on health, ironically.
Tattoos are magic like that, though.
Yeah.
I feel like every time I walk away with a new piece of ink, I feel more myself.
More confident.
Yeah.
Do you feel like tattoos have some sort of healing power?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Like
I also think they can be traumatic. I think I have so much experience with clients who come in and go like, I had this terrible experience with my last artist who did this, and then they start crying because they're like, it was nothing like I wanted. He didn't listen to me. I was too intimidated to say anything about it. Just awful. And so those people are carrying around trauma from that tattoo. But plenty of tattoos are healing.
Do you watch shows, movies, and there's tattoos? Are you looking at the tattoos?
For sure.
Are you judging the tattoos?
Yeah, I'm an NFL junkie. I love football way too much. And part of what I love is sitting there watching those tattoos run down the field. I'm like, I wonder who did that. Some of them are real nice. I absolutely look at every tattoo I see.
Who is what's a celebrity you'd want to tattoo?
Oh, good question.
Yeah. Because a lot of celebrities are tattooed. So who is one that you're
That's
like,
a good question.
We'll do like, not top one, but like, here's a list of people that I would like to tattoo.
Okay, I would love to tattoo Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay.
I think the conversations would be fascinating.
Who's that?
Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Doctor
All right.
Strange.
Yeah.
Yes, he would.
Sherlock.
Was he Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, he did the series.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he would be a lot of fun. Julia Roberts.
Okay.
I would love to have her laughing in my chair. I think that would be like
Ideal.
a high point in my life. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I would call that a win if I can make her laugh.
Is she
in my
tattooed?
chair. I doubt it.
But you'd want her to get tatted by you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd be like, girl,
what if
if
it's a-
you
what
tell
if-
me you want God is greater than the ups and downs, I'll do it.
I was about to say. What if it's a
If
rose
she came to me
or a
and showed me her
compass?
Pinterest board, I'd be like, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, for fact.
So those two. Is there
Yeah,
one
I
more?
mean, like in literally any.
All right. What's an NFL player you'd want to tattoo?
Tua.
Okay.
Do it, but because I love the work that he already has on his body, it's like it would be an honor. And I don't know who did his work before, but I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think maybe he only has one sleeve.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he needs to let me sleeve out his other arm.
Yeah.
However,
But suggesting
yeah,
you to
if
sleeve out his other
put
arm.
that out in the universe, and if that was a
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah, for
If
sure.
the universe is crazy. I'm gonna cut this clip and make it a TikTok. If a celebrity wants to get tattooed,
I'm ready.
would they, or would you feel more comfortable closing the shop for this many hours that they book for them?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably just for peace of mind alone. I can't imagine what it's like to be a celebrity, but, and this is gonna, I hate that this is about to come out of my mouth, but to be in public and then someone go, Marki,
Yeah.
I dread it. I dread it
Oh my
because
gosh, you had that experience.
have I met you before and I don't remember, which is very likely. Or
Yeah.
also like, how do you know me? I am quite the open book, so my daughter's face is on my Instagram. She is a part of my life. I refuse to hide it. I also stay paranoid that she's going to get stolen, and I take a lot of measures to make sure that doesn't happen. But I still am going to put her on my Instagram. And so like people know me well. And it's really freaky sometimes when you get pulled aside in Target and you're like, and I was like, yeah, I know, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go this way. And it's humbling and I love it and it's great, but it's also terrifying. And I can't imagine like the largest scale version of that being a celebrity and just like having no privacy and so like as soon as Julia Roberts contacts me and goes, yo girl, I'd be like,
Girl,
done, son.
tell me what day.
Done,
Yeah,
son.
well,
I've
all
got curtains, floor to ceiling curtains in my studio. I will shut those instantly.
We'll have our people contact her people,
Okay.
and we're each other's people.
Great. What a good team. Yeah, I'm so ready.
Yeah, I'm always curious. But I mean, I don't know. I've hardly ever seen any like A-list celebrities in town, or hear about A-list celebrities in town. Other than the people that I graduated high school and playing for this team. I'm like, hey, congratulations, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But like
That's
to
pretty
be like everybody in the grandma knows you, that kind of A-list celebrity. I'm always curious, like, what if they were going to the shop and would you call me?
Well, yes.
Okay, cool.
Well,
That's all I wanna
okay.
know. That's
So
all I
let
wanna know.
how this would really happen is Julie Roberts goes, yo,
Yeah.
girl. And I'm like, yes. What do you want and need from me? Show me your Pinterest board. And then who am I allowed to have there when you're there? And if it's absolutely no one, heard.
Fair.
Done.
Yeah.
But the first request would be my media guy.
Yeah.
And
Because how you gonna prove it? It could just be some random lady's arm, and you could say Julia Roberts,
I
and
know,
she may
right?
never share it or put it on her story.
well, and that's the other thing too, is if she insisted on like complete privacy and anonymity and et cetera, I'd be like, all right. All right. But we're taking a selfie together, and I'm hanging it in my room.
Yeah.
I'm going to say goodnight to you every night. It won't be creepy at all.
Just print out a fat head, put it on the ceiling.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Boyfriend rolls over like, who the hell is that? I'm like, don't worry about it. Look away.
It's fine. Isn't she pretty? Yeah, no, the ball would be completely in any of their courts. I, for a long time, dreamed of tattooing NFL players. And ideally, like, I wasn't even focused on, like, quarterbacks or anything, but just, like, running backs, linebackers. Like, some of them have great art. Most of them have really shitty, terrible art.
Yeah.
And they don't deserve that. You're making too much money to have bad art on your body. So that was kind of like a dream for a while. And then it takes work to hook like big clientele like that. And I'm just not that person. Honestly, I hate my own Instagram. I hate posting online. This guy, the only reason a lot of our social media exists is because he makes the content. Like,
he's good at it.
He's good at it, and I'm not. I don't care. I don't like it. The only reason I have social media accounts is because it's essential to my business. Otherwise, like, I just don't care. There's so many other things I'd rather be spending my time on. And I do. And then everyone else yells at me about it. Marki, you got to show your work. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, like
And
right
I
now,
will.
I'm about to post a
One
story.
day.
So
See, look at you. No.
I like the last story I posted, where it said, girl math. Did you see it?
Oh, for the studio page?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
It
see
says,
that.
girl math. You pay for a tattoo once, you wear it every day, so it's basically free.
Every day for the rest
There
of
you
your
go.
life.
So there you go. Your
Yeah,
tattoo
there you
is
go.
free. And
Man.
somebody, I guess a follower commented, and she's like, I've been telling my husband this.
Right? It's with you for the rest of your life.
Girl math.
When people hear a quote for like a piece that they're going to get and they complain about the price, I'm like, okay. I mean, like, you can go get it for cheaper, I'm sure. But also, like, it's with you for the rest of your life. So if you've done the research and you found your artist and you know what art you want and then they give you the price, you
That's
need
the
to be
price,
prepared
yeah.
to pay the price. And maybe you're not prepared in that moment, but now you know what it costs and now you can save up for it if it's important to you. But that's on your body for the rest of your life.
That's
You're
a
talking
big
about
deal.
It's a big deal. So, like, it should cost a lot of money. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
I had this experience with a guy who was, maybe he worked for the insurance company. I don't know. He had to come and unlock my car. My key got locked in my car. It's such a story. But he's out there and he had this really incredible looking band on his forearm. Now, I say a band. It was probably like 4 to 5 inches in width that went all the way around. And it was so well done. Now, I'm going to make a point here. Bands are incredibly difficult to stencil, if it's a stencil at all, to go around not a cylindrical surface, right? So you have a taper to every limb that you have. There's a taper happening, and it's not perfectly round. So to get a band to go all the way around and connect perfectly with that beginning point is nearly impossible. It will absolutely take hours to stencil it well. This guy's band was pattern work of different types, like there are different varieties of patterns that make up this huge section, and it goes all the way around. So well done. The lines hit perfect. The patterns were perfect. Like, it looked phenomenal. And I commented on it, which is not something I usually do. I don't tell people I'm a tattoo artist unless they ask. But good work, I will absolutely point it out. I can see it. I can tell that it's good. So I want to make sure that you know it's validating to hear when someone is like, man, dope work, right?
Yeah.
So, man, that's good work. And he's like, thanks. Super nonchalant, totally brushed it off. He was like, he did not give a shit about my compliment. Okay. And maybe 3 minutes of silence goes by. And he's like, I don't know, it was a little expensive, in my opinion. And I was like, yeah. Instantly intrigued. I want to know why. It's like, how much? Why? What don't you like about it? Tell me about your experience. He paid $800 for this piece of work. And it took 3 hours for the guy to stencil it on. And at the end of it, I was like, well, it's well done. And 3 hours to stencil for that sounds pretty spot on. Like, I don't think I could have done it any quicker than that. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like maybe I could have just spent that money on something else. I'm like, oh, well, then you got a tattoo for the totally wrong reason.
He
And,
did,
like,
yeah.
He just got something wanting to look cool,
Yeah.
and like was successful. It did look cool, but he still wasn't satisfied with only spending $800, which $800 is a big number. I get that.
Yeah.
But for art that's on your human body that will never come off for the rest of your life, and it's done well,
If you're telling me it's like 4 to 5 inches, that's a lot. So that
Come
seems like a
on.
good deal.
that's a good deal. That
I
was
don't
a
know.
cheap
I mean,
tattoo.
was it
I would
heavily
have charged
detailed?
double.
Was it heavily detailed?
Yeah.
That's
I mean-
that sounds cheap to me.
Yeah.
Pattern, dude.
Yeah.
It was involved enough for me to go like, damn, that's good.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that sounds cheap to me.
800
That sounds like a good deal.
bucks? That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Man. But I think that's lost on a lot of people. Value.
Yeah, the guy, well, I mean, the prison guy, I don't know how he said or how he calculated, but he said out of 8 years of full bodysuit, he said he spent around, or he probably like gave the tattoo artist probably something of a certain value,
Yeah.
He's like, he probably spent like $600 for 8 years of a full bodysuit. And I'm like, okay, but you were in there, right? That's
Money
one,
spins different.
Yeah. The currency system over there, I have no idea how it works, and I'm pretty sure it's way different from how it is out here.
Yeah.
And his first comment was, yeah, the tattoos are expensive. And I was like, hey, man, what you gonna do? Like, techniques are different,
You
the
pay
machines
for-
are different.
What you want,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And then I told him about, like, getting a hand poke. He's like, getting it pigs? He's like, man, we don't even do that.
Right?
Like, in the prison,
Don't even do that.
Oh, and they also do single needle. That is, I guess, illegal outside of prison walls. So it's considered torture. That's what he said.
I don't.
Like-
That's not a thing.
Like, I don't know, that's what he said. Because I'm pretty sure the needles that y'all use, like, it's a needle, but it's micro needles, right?
So the way a needle on bar works is you've got the one piece of metal,
Yeah.
and then if I'm using like a 3 round liner,
Yeah.
then I've got 3 needles that are grouped together and soldered to this one piece of metal.
Yeah.
So that's a 3 round liner. There is a single needle, and it's not common. I follow an artist who maybe is in the UK, I don't know, definitely overseas, who does phenomenal single needle work. I'm not gonna fuck with that.
Yeah. I don't know. And then the one thing I noticed from his sleeves in his bodysuit, there was a lot going on, and I didn't know what was what.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like another thing I don't like about certain tattoos. I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm not the biggest hater of like the post stamp style, like just random stuff everywhere.
Little sticker collection.
Yeah, like sticker collection
Yeah.
type stuff. I'm like, that's cool, but like there is no cohesiveness.
That's true.
To it. Like
That's true.
you have a coffee cup and then you have a seashell. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you might like both of them. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, but it doesn't flow together. It just looks like my nephew's sticker book. He just taking them out and just putting them everywhere.
Which is the whole point.
Yeah.
It's the whole point of a sticker sleeve. It's just a random collection of things that you like.
But yeah, he had like a whole sleeve, and I'm like, there's a lot going on. I don't know what I'm looking at, but also from a far distance, you look cool. And if I step closer, I'm like, oh, that's what that is? Oh, okay, cool. I did see a silhouette of like a woman, like from her backside. And then that's about it that I could see. And on the other side, I was like, I think I saw some devil horns or whatever on his arm.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's the only thing I could pick out.
Yeah.
And the one thing I could not stop staring, which I didn't even know what it was. He had a tattoo on his cheek.
Yeah.
Like right here. And then it flowed down to his neck.
You don't know what it was?
No. Like it just looked, from the quick interaction, like we had like a 3-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Because he was about to leave.
Yeah.
And so from what I just saw, it looked like just a blob. With like some
That's unfortunate.
Like with some structure. Like there was some definition, but I just,
Yeah, something was going on there. You just
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
I just couldn't tell what it was. Which is weird because I'm looking at him, looking at his face.
And
Right.
still
But
couldn't.
I still was not paying attention to the tattoo. It was like right here.
Yeah.
I'm just like talking, like looking at his eyes, and I'm like, okay, like I still don't know what this is. And right when he was about to leave, that's when I saw like a devil horn, I think it was, and then a silhouette of a woman, and I was like, oh, okay, but anything else? He did say he got his in between his toes tattooed, and he said that the feet like was the worst. And I was like, cool, I believe you. I don't want to see it, but I believe you. But yeah, he's full body, like the back of his neck, his back. I was like, "What's your most recent tattoo?" He's like, "My whole back is tattooed." I was like, "Oh man, that's cool."
That is cool.
I was like, "Now you gotta pay for them." Like,
Now you gotta pay. Yeah, now you don't.
now you gotta pay.
Ramaya has done so many feet tattoos lately, but she's really popped off with like little toe adornments, like little toe rings, like little decorations on the toe, which are super cute. Like, like you're intrigued and you like the look of tattooed hands. And then she does these little toe rings and I'm like, man, damn it. Because now I want them and I know they're going to hurt so bad.
Yeah.
I know they're going to hurt so bad. And I really don't want to sit down for that, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to. It's temporary.
I think it's neat that you said that parents take their kids.
Oh.
I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
I would totally take my kid.
So you're gonna take your kids on Thursday?
Yeah, you gotta remind me. Thursday from 6 to 9.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
You got is there an Am I the Asshole today or no?
No, I've been so busy this weekend.
I forgot about it.
Yeah.
We usually read an Am I the Asshole story at the end of every episode.
Oh, fun.
And then we
Yes.
kind of like give our own opinion about it.
Fun.
But recently, like, we just been like in the same, I agree, I kind of want like maybe an next episode, real controversial.
Something that,
like you say no,
sparks
but
the
I say
debate.
yes. Yeah. Do you have some sort of am I the asshole situation?
the asshole?
It doesn't have to be tattoo related, like just anything. Something that you've done, something controversial, debatable.
Man, I don't know. I think I'm practically perfect in every way. I don't think there's any.
Yeah, sure. Yep,
I'm
100%.
not.
I second
And
that you are.
you know what though? Sometimes I am an asshole. Like it's not even a debate. It's not like am I the asshole here? I just am.
Yeah.
Meadows, Katie and I are great. We are the best of friends, and we're great co-owners together. We chose to open the studio together for a reason, and we knew we would balance each other well. But the one thing working against us is we communicate very differently, and she will try her best to tell me what she means, and I see every flaw in the statement, and we'll be like, that makes no sense. And
when I'm around y'all, it feels like parents arguing.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like mom and dad are arguing again. Like
I'll stand my ground. I'm stubborn. I'm not going to back down until I want to make sure that I understand what you're saying. And so if I don't, I'm going to need you to say it in a different kind of way, Katie. And but anyway, but there are plenty of moments where in those conversations I take a step and I'm like, God, I know I'm being a jerk. Okay, hold on. I need a minute. Give me a second to like fix what's going on in there.
Well, as a business standpoint, I mean, that's a big deal. You got to make, it's your business. That's your baby.
It's your business. Yeah. Like your whole entire livelihood rides on this business being successful. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress. We've both had highs and lows, and luckily we balanced those out together really well. She puts up with me really well. So, and I think she would say the same about me.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've heard it. I validate it. So where could people find you?
Yeah, tell us.
So my Instagram handle is at Marki Flowers, Marki Flowers, like the plant. The studio Instagram and Facebook and etc. is The Apothecary Tattoo. That's also the email, theapothecarytattoo@gmail.com. Super easy. I say super easy. Nobody knows how to spell apothecary or what it means, but a simple Google search, APOTHECARY, is how you spell apothecary. We have a website. It's currently under maintenance, but the Apothecary Tattoo is a studio Instagram page. And then you've got me, Marki Flowers. You have Katie Meadows, which is at Tiny Tattooist. You have Ramaya, who is at tattoos.by.maya. And then you have Xander, who is at SiriusXXII. And those are the 4 studio artists there. We have some apprentices that we need to start featuring pretty soon.
Okay.
But Instagram, Facebook, and website. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. And if you want to start traveling, you use my code UA100. Save $100 on your next traveling experience. You can go all over the world, from Thailand to Europe, to Dominican Republic, wherever you want to go. And I will hope to see you at the airports soon. And with that,
Yay.
God bless.